Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley. It is November now, and it's also Nonfiction November. I didn't make a video announcing it before. I think that's a thing here on BookTube. But I'm just gonna read nonfiction books as I go along, and any that I finish reading this month, I will talk about it here on YouTube. I did finish one book here. It took me a couple weeks to read, at least maybe a week and a half, because the subject matter was so heavy and I had to take breaks in between to get through it. The book is called The Opposite of Butterfly Hunting by Evanna Lynch. If you don't know who she is an actress, a writer, and an animal rights activist. She is best known for playing Luna Lovegood on Harry Potter, and she also did Dancing with the Stars not too long ago. I think it was a couple years ago. So one of the things that people know about her is that she suffered from anorexia, and that she wrote to J.K. Rowling, and the author encouraged her to continue to get better, and she'd be able to be an actress in Harry Potter. Well, she does mention the fact that she wrote to J.K. Rowling, but she didn't exactly say what the media played out to be. She just said, you will get better and you'll be able to pursue her dreams, and it happens that she did get to play in Harry Potter. So Evanna was probably around 11 when she first started getting into the toxic anorexia mindset, where she would start counting her calories and not eating certain foods because they were too fattening and the like. Her parents began to catch on to what she was doing, so they put her in the hospital, where she was forced onto bed rest and eating food. She went in and out of the hospital a couple of times or so, but it didn't exactly work out for her. It ended up being her parents sent her to a place in London that had a harsher regimen for anorexics and bulimics, and she did mention a couple people who overeat were there too, but it was mostly anorexics. She talks a long time about being there. It was very traumatic for her. In spite of that, she made a couple friends, and she had a drama teacher there that really got her focusing on her love for acting and the like. She then talks about her life post this anorexia place, where she ends up going to a place to try out for Luna Lovegood. Before that, she had done some tapes and sent them in, and they told her that she was Irish and not English, and they weren't going to consider her. But then when the time came for them to hire for Luna Lovegood, they said, we want people from England and Ireland. And so she decided to take her chance, and she ended up getting it. And in spite of her dream coming true, she had a hard time there. One of the people that worked for this place that she was sent to for anorexia found out and sent a scathing letter to the directors and producers saying, how dare they hire an anorexic? She's gonna turn everyone down the path of anorexia, and she's unstable and stuff. And they found out it was her, and they ended up having to do weekly weigh-ins and such, and the director, David Yates, was really a person in her corner to keep her on to play Harry Potter. So it's a journey through her life in the last few years as an actress, and then trying to find her footing. After Harry Potter filming was done, she was kind of left and right wing. She didn't know where to go. She went to LA for a few years, couldn't get acting gigs, and went back to London and did a few things there, and she even got back into doing dance and such after Dancing with the Stars. And then when we reach the end of the book, she's learning to climb silks that they do and stuff like Cirque du Soleil and the like, and she's finally getting into a better place than she was back when she was 11 years old. What my favorite part of this book was the afterwards, because she explains a little more about what it means to be the opposite of butterfly hunting. She says she's always had a interest in butterflies and how beautiful they were, and just the process transformation. They go from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And one day she was studying a book filled with butterflies, and she notices the little pins that they use to keep the butterflies onto the board. And she realized how horrible it was that they would kill such a beautiful animal just to preserve it and take pictures of it. And she didn't want to keep beautiful things under an eyeglass, and that's why it was the opposite of butterfly hunting. Her anorexia was trying to be the pins that held her down and not let her transform into a beautiful butterfly. So I think that's where the title came from. I gave this book 3 stars. I really liked it, but I didn't like that she had to go through such a horrible time of it in order to find her place in the world and such. I would recommend this book to people who are in a good place to read it. If you're struggling with anorexia or an eating disorder of your own, then you probably don't want to read it, especially if you're new to recovery, or if you're not in a good place mentally. It would probably put a heavy weight on your mind. I definitely liked reading it because it gave me a sense of what people that we think have it all don't really have it all, So that was The Opposite of Butterfly Hunting by Ivana Lynch. She's on Instagram, I think, and Facebook, and has her own website. I haven't read any of her writings before, and I thought she did a good job in expressing herself and the struggle she went through to be where she is today. It is also National Indigenous Month. I picked a few books out at 2 different libraries that are about different Native American and Indigenous nations. I don't know too much about the books, but I'm ready to read maybe one or all of them. The first one is Crooked Hallelujah by Kelly Jo Ford. It won the Plimpton Prize, and it's set during the 1970s and 80s about a single mother who got pregnant as a teen and her struggles to support her family in an unforgiving world as a Native American woman. The next 3 are young adult novels. These 2, Hearts Unbroken and Apple in the Middle, are about Native American girls who are trying to find their place in the world. They don't necessarily appreciate their Native heritage, and they're trying to reconnect to what they have as Native American women, and as well as find a place in a predominantly white society. And then last one was actually on Reese's YA book club not too long ago. It's Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boley. The main character has a crush on a guy on her brother's basketball team. Like the other one, she doesn't feel like she quite fits in at her reservation or in the nearby white-dominated town. There's a lot of murders happening recently, and no one knows who's doing it or why, and the FBI suspect that there's a new date rape drug out there that's helping this person murder them, and she's asked to help find the mystery of what's going on. So I've been really excited to read this one, but I haven't yet. I really love the cover because it's got two people on the front cover with their paint on, but it forms a butterfly on the cover, and it looks really beautiful. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see what I do in the future. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon.